friends from NAMI are back to tell us a little bit about what they'd like to do. Guys? No? There we are. Okay. Sorry. Didn't look deep enough.
So, to the City Council members, thank you very, very much for inviting us to come here. I'm Peggy McCarthy. I'm the Executive Director of NAMI Southwest Washington. We provide services, NAMI services in Cowlitz, Clark, and Skamania counties. And this is Janie Gislason, who is our Cowlitz County Coordinator. And we are just so pleased to have been offered the bank building that is across the parking lot, under the bridge, and across the street as office space. And we were just over there and looked at what we need to do for wiring and getting it set up so that we can bring computers in. But our contract with the city, at least the draft that we're working on now, is to have us partner, at least right now, with the South Kelso Neighborhood Association. So they will also have offices there, and we will have our offices there, and there's probably space for some other small nonprofits who would like to have that space as a meeting space. For those of you who haven't been in that bank building, it's a typical old bank building, lots of central space where all the cashiers and clerks were. There is one enclosed office, pardon me, and we will be using that for one-on-one counseling when we do that. But it will be an enclosed office and, will allow us to keep confidentiality with that part of our work. And then there is a back room that was a meeting room or some more office space for maybe bank officers or something. And that's going to be the meeting room. And so we will have computer access there and can, anybody who holds a meeting there can be using PowerPoint slides and so forth. So I think it's going to work really well for us. As a bank, it also has a drive-through window. And we've been sort of joking, but in some seriousness about maybe doing something with that drive-through window, maybe being able to have people drive in and get a cup of coffee and a good thought for the day, a good mental health thought for the day. I don't know what we'll do. But it does provide some interesting challenges. So the contract that we're looking at right now, of course, is we will pay a very small amount of rent per month. We will pay for all the utilities for that building. And those utilities will be shared with the South Kelso Neighborhood Association, sort of prorated. They'll be paying a very small part of that. But we will be in that office 5 days a week. And for those of you who don't know what NAMI does, we support, we educate, and we advocate. And there are some brochures on the back table that list many of our most important programs. Our educational classes are for family members of people living with mental health diagnoses and for people with mental health diagnoses themselves. We do the same thing with our support groups. We have support groups for people living with mental health diagnoses and for their family members. Those are already going here in Cowlitz County, and Janie will talk a little bit about those in a minute. But we also, with educational classes, we have some very important classes, like a basics training program that we educate family members who have a child under 18 who has been diagnosed with any form of a mental health diagnosis. For children, 1 in 5 children will be diagnosed with a mental health disorder sometime during childhood. This is anything from ADD, ADHD, autism spectrum disorder, depression, anxiety, all the way going up to bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, some of the more serious mental health disorders. And we are doing a lot of work with ACEs right now. And Cowlitz County has been one of the leaders in the state in working on ACEs. And we have taken it on as a huge project. ACEs are the adverse childhood experiences that probably everybody in this room has experienced at least one of those. It ranges from divorce in the family to living in poverty to having any sort of adverse emotional, physical, sexual trauma as a child. Bullying is another one of the adverse childhood experiences. All those things that can change the brain chemistry and the actual biology, the genetic structure of children. Because their bodies are growing and developing, they're at very high risk for the effect of ACEs. And overall, adverse childhood experiences not only are a great predictor of whether somebody's going to have a mental health diagnosis, but ACEs are also predictors of physical illness. So any chronic illness, cancer, diabetes, asthma, heart disease, I mentioned asthma, but all of the chronic medical conditions are also precipitated in large part by ACEs in childhood. So we as an organization are focusing on ACEs and informing the communities about ACEs and working really hard to make sure that every organization, every institution, every business in counties will be trauma-free or trauma-informed at least, and understand that they have to play a role not only to prevent trauma in their employees, but in the families of their employees. And so we're doing a lot of work in all of our communities, and we're just absolutely thrilled to have some actual space here. We've been sharing an office over in the County Health Department building, and we have to be out of there on June 30th, and so we plan to be in here and starting classes on July 1st, we hope, and if we can get all the contracts signed and everything and be ready to go. We are ready to do it. So thank you very much, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you. Council, you have in front of you a lease agreement that's proposed that we'll get to probably a little bit later on unless you want to address it right now or you have any questions. Okay. All right. I don't think anything right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
And Jamie, why
just a
don't you
minute.
say something about the programs?
Yeah.
I'm Janie Gislason. I am the NAMI Southwest Washington Cowlitz County Coordinator, and have been acting in that position since November, but have been a part of this program up here since been a little over a year now, and have really seen some exciting things happen. We hope, if we're lucky enough to become residents at 109 Allen Street, we are hoping to be able to have office hours from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. For phone and for folks in the community to get a hold of us. Mm-hmm. But many times occasionally our support groups will go later for folks that have to work. They come from 6 to 8 p.m. That's as late as we're around. We also are thinking about offering one on either Saturday or Sunday for family members. We do really a lot of support group. Many of our people are family members. They've had young, we don't have a lot of young family members of young folks yet, but we have a lot of older adults that have been either drug dependent and with co-occurring disorders. The family members of them, and they have had to deal with the stresses of their loved ones, seeing them get caught up in the system and issues with the law. And they have a real hard time with that. So they come to us, and they have support services with us. And they many times also have anxiety and depression themselves, and have blossomed and really turn around then and become volunteers for NAMI. And one of our biggest things that we teach is giving back that if you're in a mental health recovery, that one of the best things you can do is reach out and be in service to others. So we have many that have turned around and gone through our services and turned around and become volunteers, and now they are going through our training programs and, looking to help assist in offering more programs and become more helpful to the community.
All right.
So I don't know what else to say.
No, I appreciate
Thank
that.
you so much.
That's always good to hear what's going on over there. Thank you, guys.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I was just reminded by my supervisor to tell that everything that we offer at NAMI is free to the consumer.
Okay.
We charge nothing.
Very good.
All of our services.
We appreciate what you're bringing here.